For the next 90 days, you must decide what it is you want more than anything else. Not what others expect from you, not what the world has trained you to accept, not what is safe, comfortable, or common, but what you truly desire. The very thing that stirs your spirit when no one else is watching. The goal that sends electricity through your blood when you imagine yourself possessing it. This one decision, if made with absolute clarity and conviction, has the power to alter the direction of your entire life. You cannot wander through life aimlessly and expect greatness. You cannot chase one dream today and a different one tomorrow and expect either to come true. The mind, like a magnifying glass, only gains power when its energy is focused on a single point. The man who plants 10 seeds in 10 different places may see a few sprouts, but the man who plants one seed and waters it every day, he is the one who will harvest a tree. Definiteness of purpose means choosing a destination before you begin the journey. It means declaring, with no apology and no hesitation, that this is the life I will live, this is the goal I will achieve, and I will not stop until it becomes real. It is the anchor in a storm, the compass in confusion. It is the thing that gets you out of bed early and keeps you awake when others are sleeping. It becomes your obsession not in a destructive way, but in a way that fuels you to become more than you have ever been. Look around at the people who have achieved greatness in any field, business, art, science, sports, leadership. You will find that every one of them at some point made a decision to pursue one thing with laser-like focus. They burned the bridges behind them. They gave up the distractions that ordinary people cling to. They didn't wait for approval. They didn't entertain backup plans. They decided what they wanted and then committed to it as though their life depended on it. Because in truth, the quality of your life does depend on the decisions you make about how you spend your time and energy. During these next 90 days, you are not simply participating in a motivational exercise. You are making a contract with yourself. A contract to pursue one aim, one burning desire, one clearly defined objective with such intensity that everything else becomes secondary. If your goal is not yet clear, then your first mission is to find it. Not just something you think you should want, but the thing that makes your heart pound with urgency, the thing that calls to you in silence, the thing that brings tears to your eyes when you imagine living it fully. And once that goal is defined, it must not remain vague. It must not be some distant, foggy wish. You must write it down, describe it in vivid detail, set a deadline, attach meaning, see it with your eyes closed and feel it with your heart open. Make it real in your mind before it becomes real in the world. Speak it aloud. Let the words shape your reality. It is as though the universe itself rearranges to support the man or woman who knows exactly where they are going. You have 90 days. That is not a lifetime, it is not forever, but it is enough. It is enough to reshape the trajectory of your life, enough to start building momentum, enough to make decisions that align with your purpose, enough to begin waking up every day with a fire in your gut and a map in your hand. A person with a definite aim is never truly poor. A person without one, no matter how much they possess, is always lost. The mind is a fertile garden. What you plant in it each day determines the harvest you will one day reap. Every thought you allow, every word you speak, every image you hold, these are seeds. And over the course of 90 days, if you plant the same seed again and again, if you nurture it with belief, if you shield it from the weeds of doubt and fear, it will grow into reality. That is the law that governs the mind as surely as gravity governs the earth. Autosuggestion is the method by which this law is put into motion. It is the deliberate practice of feeding the subconscious mind with the thoughts, words, and emotions that match the life you intend to create. For too long, most people have allowed outside forces to do this for them. Television, social media, gossip, past failures, other people's fears, these voices have been whispering in your ear every day, programming your inner world with hesitation, with uncertainty, with false limitations. That ends now. Starting today, you will become the master of your own mind. You will take charge of what enters and, more importantly, of what stays. Each morning, before the world has a chance to impose its agenda on you, you will speak your goal aloud. You will declare it with feeling, not with a whisper, not with doubt in your voice, but with the authority of someone who already owns the outcome. The words must not be cold, they must burn, they must vibrate through your chest and stir the deepest part of your spirit. Your subconscious mind is always listening. It does not judge, it does not argue, it does not reason. It simply accepts whatever is repeated to it with conviction. If you say, "I am a failure," long enough, it will find a way to prove you right. But if you say, "I am building a powerful life of purpose and success," and you say it every single day with emotion, your mind will begin seeking the people, the ideas, the opportunities, and the actions that make it true. You become what you consistently declare to yourself. This is not fantasy, this is not wishful thinking, this is the foundation of mental transformation. The greatest minds of history have used it, not because it is mystical, but because it works. Repetition is the key, emotion is the fuel, belief is the door, and your voice is the command. You must create a statement of your definite goal, and you must say it aloud morning and night for the next 90 days without fail. You must visualize it while you speak it. See yourself already living it. Feel the joy, the pride, the gratitude as though it were already accomplished. Because to the subconscious, there is no difference between imagination and reality. It reacts the same way to both. And so the imagined, when repeated and felt with power, becomes the blueprint for the real. This practice will not feel natural at first. You will resist. Your old mind, trained by years of passivity and negative reinforcement, will try to dismiss it. But that is only proof of how badly you need it. Do not let those first few days of discomfort stop you. Transformation requires persistence. Your new belief system must be installed the same way your old one was, through repetition, through feeling, through time. And as the days pass, something remarkable will begin to happen. You will start to believe. Not because the world has changed, but because your mind has. You will walk differently, speak differently, think differently. You will begin to act as if your goal is not a possibility, but a certainty. And once your mind accepts it as certain, it is only a matter of time before the world does too. Faith, when understood not as blind hope, but as a deliberate state of mind, is the most powerful force a human being can possess. It is the inner knowing, the unwavering certainty that what you desire is not only possible, it is already in motion, already on its way, already forming in the unseen before it arrives in the visible. But faith without movement is a dream. Faith without effort is fantasy. And for the next 90 days, faith must become your engine, and action your steering wheel. To say you believe and yet sit still is to lie to yourself. Real faith produces energy. It ignites motion. It creates an urgency to act. The man who believes a fire is burning does not wait, he moves. The woman who believes her goal is inevitable does not hesitate. She creates, she builds, she acts with purpose. The same must be true for you. You cannot whisper affirmations in the morning and then spend the rest of the day doubting, hesitating, procrastinating. That is not faith. That is self-sabotage disguised as discipline. You must begin each day with belief and then immediately prove that belief by what you do. If your goal is to build a business, take steps every day, no matter how small, to bring that business into existence. If your aim is to transform your health, move your body, fuel it with strength, and surround yourself with energy. If your purpose is to grow in spirit, in leadership, in love, in influence, then act like the person who already possesses those things. Speak like them. Walk like them. Make decisions as they would. Action is the language of belief. Faith is not built on evidence. Faith builds evidence. You do not wait for proof before you believe. You believe first, and your actions create the proof. This is how every achievement begins. The airplane did not fly because the world believed it could. It flew because two men believed first and acted again and again against failure, against ridicule, against reason, until the world could no longer deny what was once considered impossible. That same spirit lives in you, but it must be fed daily, with decisions, with courage, with consistent forward movement. Fear is the enemy of faith, and action is the antidote to fear. When doubt creeps in, and it will, do not argue with it. Outwork it, outlast it, outrun it. Do not sit in silence and entertain its lies. Move. Take the next step. Make the next call. Write the next page. Build the next piece. Every time you act, even when you are uncertain, even when you are afraid, your faith grows stronger. And as your faith grows, the world responds. Doors open. Opportunities arise. People begin to show up. Not because you waited, but because you walked. For 90 days, you must live with this principle etched into your mind. I do not wait for the perfect moment. I create it. I do not seek permission. I claim responsibility. I do not hope. I move. The man who acts in faith becomes unstoppable, not because the path is easy, but because his conviction makes him unshakable. He may be knocked down, but he will not stay down. He may face resistance, but it does not deter him. Faith does not eliminate challenge. It gives you the power to face it with boldness, to act in spite of it, and to continue forward with a fire that refuses to die. Faith backed by action is the blueprint of every victory. It is not enough to believe you are meant for more. You must prove it with your hands, your voice, your effort, and your time. You must act before you feel ready, speak before you feel certain, build before you feel qualified. You must trust that the ground will rise to meet your step, even when you cannot see it. Because once you move with belief, the impossible starts to bend. The unseen begins to shift, and what once felt distant becomes undeniably near. The mind is the control tower of your life, and if it is clouded by distortion, fear, or illusion, every decision you make will be misdirected. Accurate thinking is not just a skill, it is a necessity for anyone who is serious about achieving success. Over the next 90 days, you must become ruthless in separating truth from assumption, fact from opinion, signal from noise. The world is full of misinformation, full of voices shouting conflicting beliefs, full of influences that aim to pull you away from your purpose. But your mind must become like a fortress, disciplined, selective, and sharp. Accurate thinking begins with recognizing the sources of the thoughts you entertain. Every idea that enters your mind either moves you forward or holds you back. Most people are not thinking, they are reacting. They are absorbing the fears of others, the doubts of the crowd, the opinions of those who have never built anything. And then they mistake those second-hand beliefs for truth. But you cannot afford that. You must treat your mind as sacred ground. No one should be allowed to walk through it with dirty feet. Every thought must earn its place. Every belief must be examined at the door. During these 90 days, you will practice mental discipline with relentless consistency. You will question your assumptions. You will ask yourself, is this belief helping me or hurting me? Is this fear based on truth or on something I picked up from someone else? You will challenge every excuse, every limitation, every old story you've been telling yourself. Accurate thinking demands that you deal with what is, not what you fear might be or what someone told you once in a moment of weakness. It requires clarity. It requires courage. You must also be vigilant in choosing the people you listen to. Not all advice is created equal. You do not take financial advice from someone who is broke. You do not take life direction from someone who is lost. You do not listen to opinions from people whose lives you would not trade places with. Accurate thinking means filtering your influences. It means surrounding yourself, mentally and physically, with those who sharpen your vision, not those who dull it. You are the average of what you allow into your mind, and if that input is weak, confused, or toxic, your output will reflect it. But accurate thinking is not cold logic, it is not detached analysis. It is fueled by desire, guided by purpose, and strengthened by emotion. You do not think clearly by removing feeling. You think clearly by directing it. You focus your passion on what matters. You align your thoughts with your goal. You use reason not to limit yourself, but to sharpen your strategy, to make better choices, to cut away what is irrelevant. Thought becomes power when it is aligned with purpose and filtered through truth. Most people fail not because they lack intelligence, but because they think inaccurately. They exaggerate problems. They imagine obstacles that don't exist. They assume failure before they begin. They accept beliefs handed to them by others without question. They make emotional decisions and justify them with logic after the fact. But you are not most people. You will develop the rare ability to pause, to think, to analyze, and to act from clarity. You will build a mind that is immune to distraction, to drama, to doubt, disguised as advice. Each day, when you wake up, your thoughts begin to shape your reality. If those thoughts are rooted in truth, in discipline, and in alignment with your definite purpose, they will guide you like a compass through any storm. But if they are based on fear, laziness, or borrowed beliefs, they will mislead you and betray your potential. Accurate thinking is your weapon. It is your defense against deception, internal and external. It is how you stay on course when others drift. It is how you rise when others fall. And it is how you turn a burning desire into a concrete result. The final measure of a person's will is not what they start, it is what they finish. It is easy to feel motivated in the beginning when the dream is fresh and the goal feels close, but persistence is tested when the feeling fades, when the path grows heavy, when the world does not applaud your efforts and no results seem to follow. For the next 90 days, you must adopt a mindset so relentless, so unshakable that nothing, not doubt, not delay, not difficulty, can make you stop. Persistence without compromise is the price of greatness. Most people quit long before the reward. They quit not because the goal was too big, but because their desire was too small. They allow circumstances to talk them out of their own destiny. One failure and they crumble. One rejection and they change their plan. One bad day and they decide their dream isn't worth it. That is not persistence. That is convenience dressed as effort. True persistence does not waver when the process becomes uncomfortable. True persistence keeps building even when no one is watching. It does not negotiate with obstacles. It does not bargain with excuses. It continues. You must remove the option to quit. Burn the bridges to your old life. Tear up the backup plan. You cannot move forward with one foot still tied to the past. You cannot reach the peak of any mountain if you keep looking for the nearest place to sit down. When you make a decision that quitting is not an option, something changes inside you. You stop waiting for the easy way. You stop hoping for permission. You begin to draw strength from the very resistance that once intimidated you. Every problem becomes a proving ground. Every challenge becomes a forge for your discipline. Persistence without compromise means you do not adjust your goals to fit your mood. You do not lower your standards because the work is harder than expected. You do not make excuses that let you off the hook. If it takes longer, you stay longer. If it demands more, you give more. You keep showing up, you keep pushing, you keep building, even if progress seems invisible. Growth is not always something you can see day by day, but that does not mean it is not happening. Seeds grow in silence. Roots dig deep before the tree ever breaks the surface. You will face distractions. You will hear the voices of comfort calling you back to the easy life. You will feel the temptation to take shortcuts, to take breaks you have not earned, to slow down when speed is required. But you must remember, compromise is a slow poison. It begins with small negotiations, a skipped task here, a delayed start there, and soon you are drifting, wondering how you lost the fire you once had. The only cure is discipline, and discipline is built by doing what must be done even when you feel nothing at all. Every person who has ever achieved something extraordinary has walked through the valley of fatigue, of doubt, of discouragement, but they kept walking. That is the difference. That is the edge. That is the invisible line between average and exceptional. Persistence does not always roar. Sometimes it is the quiet voice that says, "Go again." Sometimes it is the hand that sets the alarm, the feet that step back into the ring, the eyes that stay fixed on the goal when everything else is pulling you away. You will not be perfect. You will not always feel powerful, but you will continue. And in continuing, you will separate yourself from the masses. Because most people stop when it hurts. Most people stop when it's slow. Most people stop when the excitement wears off. You will not. You will persist without compromise, not because it is easy, not because it is glamorous, but because your purpose demands it, because your goal deserves it. Because the person you are becoming cannot be born through comfort, but only through consistency. Let this be your standard. Not to try, not to dabble, but to endure, to commit, to persist, until the goal bends, until the door opens, until the vision becomes reality. For the next 90 days, you are not simply living, you are creating. You are stepping into a rare class of individuals who do not leave their future to chance, but who shape it with deliberate thought, unwavering belief, and relentless action. This is not about motivation, this is about transformation. It begins with a definite purpose, chosen not by accident, but with clarity and conviction. You will feed that purpose every morning and night through the power of autosuggestion, reminding your mind daily who you are and where you are going. You will back that belief with action, consistent, bold, and unshaken by fear or delay. You will train your mind to think accurately, to reject the lies of limitation, and to align thought with truth and direction. And above all, you will persist without compromise, without delay, without quitting. You will rise again and again, not because it is easy, but because it is required. These 90 days are not a challenge. They are a declaration, a contract with your future. If you follow through, if you stay the course, if you give yourself fully, then something greater than motivation will be born within you. A new identity, a new standard, a new life, built not by chance, but by choice.